Hi everybody, and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. This post is from the subreddit Relationships, and it's by user ThrowawayA312. I, 25 male, have been dating someone, 34 female, and her past has been in the way. Last night after sex, she made some hurtful comments. So, I've been dating Jane for a couple of months now. She has an ex-boyfriend who cheated on her. She was devastated and she can't give up on him in some ways. She claims she doesn't want to go back to him but stays in contact. They had dinner last night before she and I hung out. She doesn't meet with him regularly, but they text a lot. She said she wants to get some kind of closure. He didn't give it to her, which I told her to brace herself for. Basically, I think she just needs to cut him out of her life because he makes her think about the betrayal, as he shows no remorse. He's basically a sociopath. He asks a lot about me, as we have become really close, and she's said that she stays in touch because she wants to hurt him as he hurt her. She also says she's not exactly sure why she wants to stay in touch, but that she's absolutely sure she's not going back to him. As well as that, she dated someone for a couple of months before me, and he left her for no visible reason. Both of these betrayals have left her in a pretty devastating state regarding men. In some ways, it makes me feel second best, even though she compliments me all the time. She tells me she's never been with someone so emotionally available and open. I'm falling completely in love with her. She's beautiful, has similar interests, and doesn't seem to be emotionally abusive. Many of my past relationships have taken advantage of my being sensitive. Anyways, I have been nervous about these two guys in her past, not out of jealousy or fear that she will leave me for them, but because it has had an effect on how much she wants to open up in some ways with me. I completely understand this and have been patient. I want to be exclusive with her, but I have in no way pushed for it. She's told me multiple times that she has this fear that I'm going to leave her just like they did. She says, "Everyone always leaves me." I've been nothing but reassuring while practical. I am really into her. I would never leave this girl on a whim. Of course, if we find we aren't compatible, it might not work out. That's how relationships work. I feel that I have to constantly remind her that I'm not those other guys. Last night, for example, this issue became extremely apparent and she made some comments that really hurt in the aftermath. I'm not going to go into the details of our intimacy, but something happened while I was about to climax that made me chuckle and I didn't finish. I was completely okay with this because the sex is still great and she finished. Then, out of nowhere, she started crying. I felt absolutely terrible. I tried to console her, but she just wanted to be left alone. Finally, 10 minutes later, she said, "This is how it starts," under her breath. I was confused. This was one situation that didn't go perfectly, but I still find the sex to be very good. In fact, the best I've ever had. She basically thinks I wasn't even close and didn't enjoy it. I had to reassure her about that too, because I absolutely do enjoy being with her in every possible way. She is gorgeous, sexy, fun to be around, has wonderful interests, has a lot in common with me, and furthermore is amazing in bed. She's basically everything I've always been looking for. If it weren't for any of this emotional baggage, which she's bringing upon herself, we'd be perfect. Long story short, she was saying that she knows that I'm going to leave her. After saying that, she made another comment. She said, "I'm not going to let you leave me though." I said, "Baby, don't say it. This was a small thing. Let's talk about it." She told me, "Stop making this about you. I'm obviously hurting." I didn't understand that because I think it was about us. Finally, she said what I was dreading to hear. She said, "I'm not going to let you leave me because I'm going to leave you to protect myself. Not now. Maybe in a month, maybe in 6 months, but I'm not letting it happen again." This devastated me. We fell asleep in each other's arms. She cuddled me in the morning. I fed her cats and I took her to work like I always do. We talked about sex practically and I was able to tell her my feelings. She seems a bit better now, but I can't get those words out of my head. I can't help but be hurt that she'd have no problem leaving me, even if we have something great, just to protect herself from pain. I completely understand her side of it and that she probably needs time. That's precisely why I haven't pushed for exclusivity in the relationship, though neither of us is seeing other people. I don't know exactly what kind of advice I'm seeking. I'm just feeling a bit hurt right now and could use some guidance and assessment. I've been abandoned and left before, and I know how much it can hurt to trust someone else. I've always known that everyone is different though. I feel like she's projecting, which is fine, it's part of the process. I know there is nothing I can do to make her trust me. I've been honest with her and that's the best I can be. I guess I'm just uneasy because I fell in love with someone who might not be ready. Yikes, OP, this is a red flag followed by a whole parade of red flags. She basically put a time bomb on your relationship where you can't see the timer. So one guy cheated on her and the other one left her and you don't know why? I'll take a guess as why the other guy left her. Probably because he didn't want what she's doing to you. This is in no way a healthy relationship to be in, for you or for her. She's not ready to be in a relationship just like you said at the end, and that is not good for anybody. She needs to figure herself out and build some self-esteem. I personally believe that you can't love somebody else if you don't love yourself, because then you'd be making the other person responsible for your love and happiness, and that's not fair to them. So maybe the best thing would be, considering this relationship is really young, to say, well, this is where we part ways. All the best in the future. And what do you guys think, or what would you do if you were in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Burnbull says, ugh, she sounds like a hot mess who is not at all over her ex and is carrying a lot of baggage around as a result. I mean, there are so many red flags in this post, I don't know where to start. Meets her ex regularly, unsure of what she wants her relationship to be with him, cries after sex, threatens to break up, etc. This is not going to end well for you. This girl is in no way ready for an adult relationship, and when she goes down in flames, she's going to take you with her if you're still standing there. And OP responds, thanks. The kicker is that she brings up my age as a potential issue. Not to be rude about her, but I feel like I'm more emotionally stable and relationship ready. Not that it matters, but she doesn't meet him regularly, but they do text. She wants closure or something. Not defending her though, I edited in the main post to clarify. I want to make sure I'm honest and open about everything. Papa Frog says, as people are pointing out, no mentally healthy 34-year-old woman is going to behave this way. Think about a couple of things. She's 34. Guys are always leaving her. Is it them or is it her? What's the common denominator? Is this the woman you want to start a family with? And Dopey responds, the first guy cheated out of nowhere. However, now that I've had so many conversations about him, my guess is that the other guy from this past summer, who I suspect she is still hung up on, got tired of her talking about her ex and hit the bricks. I don't know if I'd want to start a family with her. I know I've fallen for her and that my views are clouded now. Logically, right now, my answer is no. I keep hoping there is a way to salvage this though. I'm most likely wrong. I also keep hoping that maybe I'm just not being understanding enough and maybe I'm in the wrong here. Resentful in Dayton says, I think what you are seeing are some of the reasons Summer Dude bailed so unexpectedly. It sounds like she has a lot of difficulty taking responsibility and a huge victim complex. That, coupled with her trust issues, is supremely toxic. This is someone who is hurting very badly and nurturing that hurt. And so in that hurt, that no one else's feelings matter, least of all yours. What she said to you is really cruel, and that will almost definitely happen again and again. This is your honeymoon period. This is her at her best. It's not always easy to break up, but I don't see this getting better for you. Try and leave her with a clearer explanation than Summer Guy did, maybe, but my guess is she won't hear it. And OP responds, this makes sense. The first time she acknowledged me saying I was hurt at something was last night. I'm always listening to her as the victim, and when she did respond last night, all she could say was that I'm being selfish. Some acknowledgement, that is. She made me feel pretty rotten. Well, the community definitely had a lot to say about OP's relationship and the girlfriend. I think OP was listening. So now let's move on to the update to see how this story ends. So everything ended up being kind of swept under the rug for about a week. It almost made me forget everything that happened. She basically stopped talking about her ex after I brought up my concerns. She said that she's been afraid to fall for someone again based on her past, which we already knew, and that she knows that she is self-fulfilling her prophecy by being difficult and pushing me away. We spent the weekend together and had a good time. Things seemed to be moving in a stable direction. Anyway, in reading the responses to my Reddit post though, I learned a lot about myself. I looked up codependency issues, and it is definitely something I've struggled with before. I had a problem with never letting my side be heard and always bending to the other person in my past relationships. I didn't know there was a term for my condition, but I had already been taking personal steps towards bettering myself. Now, I don't want to give away too many personal details, but I'll do my best to make this clear. I am in the arts. I have a master's degree and plan on getting my doctorate soon for teaching purposes at a college. Currently, I'm working on building a resume with my work with the ultimate goal of landing a job as a professor. I'll skip my accolades, but I've done pretty well. I have some good connections and I'm confident that I'm on the right path. However, in my last relationship, I would miss opportunities that could put me even further ahead to instead make my girlfriend at the time happy. I promised myself after that relationship that I would never do that again. That's how codependency is related. This morning, the biggest red flag for my sanity and personal well-being happened. On the way out the door after waking up together, I mentioned that I had a recording session to attend. I'm not being paid for it, but it's still a really good networking opportunity. I usually avoid any unpaid work that won't potentially be good for my career, plus this is a very close friend. She mentioned, "You realize that in the past month you haven't been paid for a gig." This upset me. Background as to why it upset me. First of all, I have an office job that is very flexible, and because of that I am absolutely financially stable. It allows me to get through my dry months without having to worry about income. Secondly, my work in the arts has taken me to great places. But dry months happen. I had made this clear to her. So this was finally my opportunity to have a shoulder to lean on. We all need support when we are dealing with stuff. I mentioned that I was pretty upset about the fact that I don't have anything on the books for a week and that I'm really trying to get more. I told her that it can be hard, especially in a city that is super saturated with artists. I've also been here for a while and know that these things bounce back. This was her chance to be there for me. While she has concerns that are valid, we are not exclusive yet, and the path that she chose to follow really hurt me. Suddenly, she started talking about a potential future and needing financial stability in a partner, etc. Meanwhile, she's going back to school and is honestly in a less financially stable place than me. I am not so arrogant as to say that my life is completely figured out and that I know exactly what is going to happen, but I've made calculated decisions and I know I'm on the right path. I'm currently stable and always will be. She has no reason to think I'm a broke deadbeat or that I will be. At the same time, we aren't exclusive, so why should it matter? I feel like I made a personal breakthrough. She turned a conversation that was about something that was personally upsetting me, an issue I was dealing with, something I just needed someone to be there for me, and made it about her. She made it about something that wouldn't be an issue until well into our future as a couple. Furthermore, she showed that she doesn't trust my word. I could have consoled her as I have before. We've talked about our future as professionals, and I've told her about what I'm working towards, what my path is, and that there is nothing to worry about. So this wasn't new, but I didn't bend towards her. You all made me realize that I tend to not take my own emotions into consideration. When I responded to her, I remembered my post. I remembered the responses. I decided to defend myself, and she didn't like it. I mentioned that this is an immediate issue, not one that pertains to my future as an educator, that I was upset about the fact that I don't have the work that I want right now, that I knew it would bounce back, it always does, but that her bringing it up struck a nerve, that I just needed someone to talk to. She took it as an attack and argued with me. We were in public, which she didn't like. I didn't know at the time that it was an issue, but she brought this up. I was trying to stay calm. As I dropped her off at work, she told me all of this, that it was uncalled for that I argued with her in public, even though she steered the conversation in that direction, and that she never wants to talk about it again because of my reaction, and that she needs to know that she can be in a stable 1 to 1.5 income household. This year? What the F are you smoking? Her potential fears are definitely valid, even though she comes from a family that is involved in the arts, But this wasn't the time or place to bring it up. She said that I make things about myself, but this time she did the exact same thing and obviously didn't like that I defended myself. I texted her when I got to my job an hour or so ago. I'm at least giving her a chance to cool off, see my side, and maybe apologize. I did mention some things that would help alleviate her fears. I told her that what I'm doing is building toward my future. I apologized for arguing in public, but pointed out that I'm not the one who steered the conversation in that direction. I told her that she made this about her and that it really upset me, that I've been there for her for all of her emotional issues and that I just needed someone to talk to this morning. I did not need someone to bring up stuff that's in a future that isn't even close to being realized. We are not in an exclusive relationship. I've shown myself as financially stable and on top of my crap. If she doesn't know that by now, fine, but I know it. I don't think she has the right to bring up a one-income household when she was just talking to and visiting her ex last week, and on top of that is the one having difficulty committing. The kicker is that she brought up the fact that we are both just in different places in our lives. She's right, but not in the way that she thinks. She is going back to school, will probably be leaving her job and starting a new beginning, while in her mind I'm still figuring things out. I figured them out a long time ago. I know where my path will lead, and I know where I'm at. I don't think of it as a negative at all, but I do take offense to her grave assumption of me, especially when we've talked about this constantly. It goes back to me needing to constantly assure her, just as I did when I said I wasn't going to walk away when others have. So now I have to assure her about our emotional stability as a couple and my own professional stability. I'm beginning to think that she just can't trust anything. I can't be with someone who can't trust what I'm saying, can't trust my path, and can't see the good things about me. Could we have had a discussion she wanted to have? Absolutely. But why right then? I tried to mention that as we were talking, and instead she lashed out further and kept talking about this future. And when I mentioned that we could talk about it later, she shut off and said, "Now I never want to talk about it. I can't do this anymore." OP's in-post final update. She did respond to me via text saying, "I'm sorry too. I was going to comfort you, but you lashed out at me because I clearly said something that struck a nerve. I may have raised my voice when she brought up the income situation, but I did not lash out at her. I took a defensive tone. She said other nice stuff in the text to try and make up for things, but there's just too much BS to avoid. And don't worry, I didn't apologize for anything except for the fact that I raised my voice in public. That's why she said I'm sorry too. I had no indication that she would be embarrassed to have a friendly argument on the subway, and now I do." Anyways, I'm not accepting an apology with a disclaimer attached. Obviously, she doesn't see that the problem is the fact that she made it about her. She also said, "I wasn't making it about me" in her texts, and tried to pretend that I hadn't mentioned my future plans for my career. That is complete BS. I went into detail about it one night on the phone. She's either pretending to forget or she actually forgot because she was too busy trying to talk to me about her 1,000 other problems on the phone that night. I tried to give the benefit of the doubt. She's completely incapable of even seeing 0.1% of my side in this. I haven't even wasted the time drafting a response. If she doesn't get it by now, she never will. Anyway, I don't think one person should be able to make me feel this way, especially someone I haven't known for that long. So, I'm out. Well, OP, you had to endure a little more drama in your life to actually get it, but you did. Good for you for stepping out of that relationship, and hopefully your ex-girlfriend can do whatever work she needs to do to be in a better place for any future relationships she might have. In the meantime, all the best to you in the future, OP, and thank you for sharing. So now let's finish the video on a positive note with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user Garlic Bread Rules. It definitely does. Tell me to pick up my tools and get out. I forgot to tell you the printer was fixed. I used to carry a toolkit for a large computer company. I'd fix computers, terminals, disk and tape, and printers. One time, I got called to a trucking company in North Carolina to work on a printer. This was a large band printer with paper in a continuous sheet. They'd do their trucking invoices and orders on it. It was really messed up and it took me forever to fix it. Other people had fixed it before and the customer was pissed. I was young and just out of the Marines. It was my first shot at fixing it. I finally got it working. I was just cleaning up and was about to tell the manager when he came in yelling at me. He told me to pack up my tools and get out. Now, in the meantime, no trucks are being dispatched. They would print the shipping documents on this, so I said nothing. Packed up my tools and left. 2 hours later, they get another repair person out from the office there. He does a test print, looks at the manager and tells him it's fixed and it's working fine. He said the look on the manager's face was priceless. Be a bitch to a repair person just trying to do her job. Don't dispatch trucks for 2 hours because she just follows your orders and leaves. Well, OP, serves him right for being an asshat. Thank you so much for sharing. And it's that time that we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. I really did enjoy reading them to you. So if you did, then don't be shy and go ahead and give the video a like. And don't forget to subscribe or even share this video with people that you might think will enjoy my storytelling. Also, if you have the time, go down to the video description and check out all the links I have for you, from our Discord community to my channel merch. And finally, I'd like to say thank you for watching. It really means a lot to me that you enjoy my videos. And having said all that, I'll see you guys in the next video.